We're gonna have to update the intro for No Baru.
Yep.
Dead
So, you guys are still doing a little bit of investigation. And yeah, so Antaeus, you're outside of the house at this point, right? You've kind of walked out to start looking at the windows.
Yes.
You probably can notice Gulran kind of standing next to one for a moment and looking at it as you come outside.
All right, I will. Is he's currently investigating something? It looks
He's looking at it for a moment, and then seems to be kind of getting ready to turn away.
Gulran? Is it?
Ah, yes. What's
Have
up?
you found anything interesting outside of here?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I noticed these claw marks in this hole over here. Maybe you can make what it is.
I'll kind of come over and take a look at it.
I can't make heads or tails of it.
Yeah. Give me a investigation.
Fork.
Nat 20, nat 20.
Oh my god. Have any of you rolled? No, all of you have rolled like sub 12 on investigation.
Brianna
Man.
rolled an 21 when we
Oh,
were
yeah, the
looking
very
at
first
the
thing.
folder.
Yeah.
But
The folder, easy to master. Everything else, nope. So yeah, so you'll notice the claw marks because he points them out to you, or whatever, the scrape marks, whatever they are. But yeah, you can't make heads or tails of what could have caused it.
That's interesting.
Is
Have you
it
noticed these rooms at all?
What?
These what?
The I'll show him the rooms that I was investigating on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is this clearly identifiable from the outside?
Not from the outside. You would have noticed that from the inside.
Oh, I would have. Oh,
I guess you actually would have noticed some of it because you would have seen like a bit of nail poking out every once in a while where it shouldn't have.
It looks like much shoddier.
Yeah.
Where his
like a person that would have put this together would not have nailed certain things together the way that this has been nailed together.
Okay, yeah, I'll mention the stuff I saw inside as well, in his bedroom specifically, and then the inconsistencies on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
Sounds
if this
some
means
gaudy
anything,
renovation. I don't think
yes,
so.
it looks like it was added on afterwards.
Yes,
That's kind of ramshackled and thrown together sloppily, similarly
to
to.
note, but I don't see any connection to the missing gold to that.
No, I just was wondering if there was if that might have some connection to something.
Maybe.
But it didn't. Nothing comes to mind immediately, unfortunately. Similar to the stove. The stove was also pieced back together with scraps here and there.
Just sounds like it supports his story of him finding scraps and doing things cheaply while he's saving money.
That's true.
Nothing seems to. Yeah.
Did the doors that he to the bedrooms? They looked like they were just kind of like pieces of planks of wood. You said, right?
Yeah, they're very like minimalistic. So it's just like a piece of wood with some hinges that are on it, and the hinges aren't even like even.
And then the daughter, we saw her at the very beginning, right? We didn't.
You only heard her footsteps.
Oh.
You know, as he opened the door, she was kind of like rushing into her room.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I wasn't 100% sure.
Yeah.
You didn't happen to notice the daughter at all when we went in the first time, did you?
Did I?
No, you did not.
Everything. Yeah. No, I just heard her like I think everyone else did. I didn't see her.
Interesting.
Sounded like she was a very young kid. I don't think she would have any reason to steal the gold or anything.
No, I don't believe so either, but I spoke to her and she said that she was not supposed to talk to strangers as per her father's orders. And I came out here to investigate the windows to see if perhaps I could get some sort of visual clarification that there's nothing stranger going on in her room. Not that I have any reason to believe that there is, but just for peace of mind.
Well, take it from me. I don't think it's wise to go looking in a young girl's room uninvited. Someone may get the wrong idea. Why don't we just? Did you ask the racist?
Oh,
in there?
no, not like that.
Did you
So,
ask his name?
Yeah, Brianna.
I was gonna say, so, I don't suppose that you would have shared, like, your curiosity about the daughter with me since I was inside.
Mm-mm.
I would mention it if you weren't directly around him, because I don't want to raise any suspicion with him. Which is why I was hoping that there was more than just the 3 rooms, so that I could kind of investigate that thing a little without him noticing. But yeah, if I do run into you, I'll mention it when you're not around him.
Okay.
Perhaps you have more information than I do.
Well, I guess what I would want to do is I would be, since we have now 2 of the party members outside, I will, like, address him, just say that I wanted to take a look around outside just to see if there was anything of note.
Sure. No problem at all.
Alright, and so I will step outside and kind of see where the others are, kind of see, if they found anything.
Mm-hmm. They're standing next to a window chatting about something.
So I come up to them, I'm like, hi guys, did you find anything?
Hello. Go on.
I was just gonna say nothing but these claw marks and little hole here, and nothing else to note out here, I think.
Well, nothing on the outside specifically, no.
Claw marks? And I kind of look at the window,
You
guess
can
try
see
to-
it if they're pointing it out, yeah.
Yeah.
The real key is investigation.
Yeah.
We are not meant to know the origins of this.
No wonder we are junior members.
Alright, should we go 4 for 4?
Well, you see, when Brianna walks out, Elizabeth,
Mm-hmm.
what's it like doing what you do?
What do you mean?
Well, I imagine you have to go to a lot of these kinds of situations. Does it ever get kind of taxing on you?
No, not really. I thoroughly enjoy my work.
You like this kind of thing?
Yes, I like solving cases, helping people. I mean, it's work. I just like to work. I like to stay busy.
Yes, I know that feeling. Work is like a nice place to keep a clear head, right?
Yes.
Just get right down to it. You work with the ministry. Do you know why a couple of days ago they shut down like a large area of the tunnels? I was supposed to work that area, and all of a sudden it was quarantined off for something.
Some stuff might have happened in the tunnels, but I'm not sure I'm privy to share that information.
I guess that makes sense. Investigation stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you ever feel like talking about it, you're always welcome to come by.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't think we have anything else at this moment, so we'll get back in touch if we have any other questions.
Okay, thank you.
I'll leave and be kind of like, what the heck was that all about?
He invented the whole story just to get information out of us.
He was hitting on Elizabeth.
No.
That's a terrible job hitting on her.
No, he's trying to get information.
How do you
out
like
of her.
these sewers?
All right. So Elizabeth comes walking out with a
Okay.
very uncomfortable look on her face.
I'm kind of showing her the same things on the inconsistencies in the building, the rooms that I was showing. Golrod, Golrock,
Ron.
Golron.
Another character that can't pronounce your name.
Damn alchemists, they're all the same.
Man, are you
Now
gonna
who's
be
the racist?
You gonna be racist in
Classist.
this campaign too?
I'm classist. It's not a race.
You can't prove that. Oh no, that's right. John's the racist in the other one.
Yeah.
I like
mean-
how he was like, he's
you
like,
mean
oh,
Dan?
all these human. Yeah, sorry, my bad. Dan. Wrong generic white guy
Yeah.
name, right, Steve?
Hey.
I'll have you know that most of the Steve Williamses I've ever looked up happen to be African Americans. So
True.
Well, you're a quarter of the way there.
I am.
I was hoping you were gonna mention how my name is extra generic as well,
Yeah,
but
right.
No.
We actually
Yeah.
all have really white names. Whitney, Jessica. We're average white people right here.
Excuse me? There
Yeah,
are
fair.
a lot of different ethnicities that have used the name Whitney. Okay.
Sure.
there's lots of different versions of white that have used the word name Whitney.
Well, before my channel gets shut down, let's.
Wow.
Well, it's cool. Nobody cares about white people. Nobody cares about white people's
That's true.
rights.
As well, they
Okay,
shouldn't.
well-
We have quite a bit more of them than everybody
Let's
else. So,
Let's just all put on our UGG boots and go get some Starbucks. We'll all be fine.
Excuse me?
but
I
it's
don't
not
own
pumpkin
a
spice
boot,
season.
And I personally don't like pumpkin spice.
I don't wear
Oh
Ugg boots
my
because they're made out of animals. I'm a vegan.
All
I don't
right.
wear animal
Elizabeth.
clothes.
Elizabeth, get over here and look at these claw
And
marks.
I prefer that the animals be freshly cleaned and cut when I wear them. I don't want this processing afterwards. I like all of my stuff unprocessed.
So Elizabeth comes to see the scene of all three of us just like, what are these claw marks? What is this thing?
White
And we're like,
rights.
Elizabeth, come look at this thing.
Knowing that I am terrible at investigating, I will. And because I took this shitty ass spell and already learned it for the day, so I will cast Karmic Blessing on myself.
Oh, that's dope. I like that.
Okay. Are you're casting it on yourself or on somebody else?
Well, they've already all looked at it, so I'm just gonna cast it on myself as I try to investigate it and hope.
Okay. So you know,
That would.
if you don't have any ranks in investigate, it's not going to do anything for you.
I have a rank.
Oh, okay. Then go ahead. It'll be at a +3.
I
Then.
just.
Just out of curiosity, if we were to try to reinvestigate it after she did that, we would have essentially the equivalent of like new knowledge, and we would be able to re-roll right. Or...
No, I would change what your existing roll was to what the new roll is. So
Lucky you
okay.
got that +3.
Oh my god.
And -2 from unfocused. Got her.
Could I cast detect magic around here?
you certainly
I already
can.
did. Didn't I?
No, you did not. You said
I had detect magic and then
no.
I looked
You said
around.
you were thinking you were going to do a look around, and if you didn't find anything, then you were going to do detect magic.
And I didn't find anything.
You didn't look what you did. You found this window.
All right, well, okay.
All right.
Have I
So
ever
with
used-
detect magic, you will notice that there is a faint amount of illusion magic that is like just the tiniest little bits are still left kind of lingering in the air.
So I will say, it looks like that there was some kind of illusion.
Have either of you actually seen or spoken to the child?
What is your obsession with this child? No, none of us have spoken to this child.
No. No, why do you
why
ask?
didn't you ask him inside?
Guys,
What?
what if this is her husband?
Wait, what?
And she's a child bride, perhaps? Is that what you're saying?
No.
I see what she's assembling.
The woman that we shoved into the cube. She was looking for. Well, I mean, obviously, this kid, he said it was a girl, and she was looking for a boy, but It's like, what if it's her husband and kid?
Elizabeth, are you going to look at every single man and assume that this could be the
Yes,
husband?
shut up.
You already know her husband was Baru, remember?
Yeah.
He was at least sure of it.
So, I have another question. I have a cantrip called Prestidigitation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it says that I can use it to make crude objects. Could I make like a simple doll maybe and use that to meet the child? Like, in other words, ask the father, can I give the child the doll or whatever?
You could try, but I'll need a diplomacy for that.
Okay. So I'm going to use Prestidigitation.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm saying like a doll, I'm thinking more like kind of like an Amish type doll, where it's like cloth and that kind of thing.
It's gonna look even more crude than that. It's gonna look more like one of those little twine figures that maybe you've seen. That's like about yay big. Because Prestidigitation can't really make things much bigger than this.
Like they used in the Blair Witch Project.
Wait.
Here, little girl.
Here, Brianna, have a karmic blessing.
Yeah, you know that's not worth anything.
Does it like look like it's not worth anything because of how shoddy it is, or is it? Like...
I mean, it looks like it's not worth anything because like it's just a little like anybody can make this kind of toy.
Okay, so but it doesn't seem like it's just like throw some nails and add something and like just give it to a kid, you know?
No.
Those kind of toys.
Does not have nails sticking out of it.
Okay, good. It's not like a voodoo doll. It's not a little voodoo doll.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
So I am going to go back around to the house, and
Okay.
I'm going to knock again.
Yeah.
You know, just since we had all left, you know, I
He'll
just wanted to
welcome you
make
in.
sure. Okay. And I just said, you know, I just wanted to come back here for a second. I noticed that you have a child, and I really like children. I don't have very much, you know, myself to give, but I use some of my magic to make this for her, and I was wondering if I could give it to her.
Give me a diplomacy.
Whoa.
Also likes children.
Yeah. He'll walk you over there, and you like children, you say?
Yes. You know, there were a lot of children in my family, and I just, you know, I really enjoy, you know, seeing the joy and laughter that kids can bring.
You're welcome to stay for dinner if you'd like.
Oh, I wouldn't want to impose. I know that
It's no imposition at all.
Well, in that case, then sure.
Okay. So yeah, he will let the child out, or he'll go up to the door before you, before he lets her out, and he'll say, "Hey, there's a lady here. She's looking into some things, and she'd like to speak to you." And he'll like gesture for her to come out, and she'll come out. She's a little like probably about 6 or 7-year-old girl. She's got this like little like kind of cloth doll in her hand as she comes out, and she's like got it kind of clutched up close to her chest. The other man said that you were gonna try to help my daddy find something. Are you helping Daddy find something?
So real quick, how tall is she? Like, are we kind of eye level, or is it more like...
She's probably still... Hold on, let me look at your height. It's pretty close. She's actually probably about as tall as you. You're on the lower end of the halfling spectrum.
Okay. So I'll give her a big smile and I'll say, yes, we're going to do our best to help your daddy get back the things that he lost.
That would be so nice.
I wanted to I don't have very much to give, but I did make this for you. Maybe it could be a friend for your, and I'll offer the crude doll to her.
She takes it and looks at it. Oh, I have some of these. They're neat. I have a couple of them. They put on shows sometimes.
Oh, that's interesting. That I love to watch shows.
She gets like kind of excited and she rushes back and she grabs this little like box that she has and she comes walking out with it, and she has like a bunch of them like kind of laying around in there, and she can kind of like open up a little bit from behind and get her like fingers in there and kind of props them up and does like a little kind of like shadow box theater with these little things, and has them talk to each other and like dance a little bit, does a number of other like little like show like things, and at the end she has them all she picks them up one by one and kind of like has them all take a bow.
So I will clap for her and say, that was very good. Do you like to perform?
I do. I've made a lot of like these shows, and sometimes I try to show them to the kids at school, and sometimes they like it. Sometimes though they don't understand. I don't know. It might be because they're like a little different than me, you know. They have like get the heads, you know, and goblins don't always get all the stuff that I say. They're nice though. You know, we share stuff, and some of them are funny. Some of them are very funny.
Well, the most important thing is that you enjoy, doing that, and that you have fun doing it. And hopefully they'll come to understand in time, the ones.
Thank you. Okay. Are you going to inform the party that you're going to stay for dinner?
Yes. So I will look at Nico and I'll say, I'll be right back. I just want to let them know that I'm staying for dinner.
Okay.
So I will step outside and go up to the others and let.
Okay.
Hey guys, I'm staying for dinner.
Okay. While I'm out here, I will myself to disbelieve the illusion in front of me. If she told me there was illusion magic, which I don't know if she did.
I did.
Yeah.
I said
okay.
There was some kind of an illusion here.
Yeah, I'm gonna will myself to disbelieve the illusion in front of me.
There's no illusion here any further. There's the remnants of illusion magic here.
I still do it though. I will myself to disbelieve.
That's fine. You can will it all you want, but that's just gonna throw you into some kind of psychological issues.
You're gonna take some psychic damage.
Yep, take that sanity damage. You believe that the things that are here are no longer here.
What is reality, man?
Whoa. You have an existential meltdown in front of the window.
Are you using this to gather more information, or what is this?
I'll nod and say, it never hurts to get to know people a little bit better.
What did you go inside for? What were you doing in there?
Well,
dinner.
Honestly, I wanted to give something to the little girl. I made a small little doll, and apparently she can make them too.
With magic?
It would seem so.
No, those were probably not necessarily made with magic.
Oh, okay. So
it's a fairly easy thing to make. Like what prestidigitation does is it kind of like fabricates very simple materials, and you kind of like can will them to do and twist however you want. So she did it by hand. She most likely. I mean, you can't know for certain, but it's a very easy process of kind of like twisting up either twine or some like I forget what it's called, and then like binding it with like some ties or like just any like thin pieces of metal or string or what have you.
So in that case, I'll amend and say, I don't know if it's magical. She probably could do it by hand. I mean, it wasn't like a fine creation that I gave her, but she seemed happy with it. So I just wanted to let you all know so that you weren't worried about me. That I'm will return to the ministry after dinner.
Does this sound like she's not under? She's not under duress, is
No,
she?
it doesn't sound like she's under duress at all.
Blink twice.
This is a choice you made of your own volition.
Well,
Yes?
Yes. I mean, being very nice, and I don't see why I shouldn't.
Yes. Well, we didn't really get any clues here to go off of.
Well, the stew they're having is not very good, I must say. It smells better than it tastes. There's some sort of meat, low quality meat.
Well, be that as it may, I just figured that maybe I can find out some more about them over dinner.
Yes, that sounds good. While you're doing that, I think we should canvass the neighborhood a little more thoroughly. Maybe we should get an idea of what this man is like in this, what people see him as.
And
I mean, he must have some friends. He must have told someone he was saving up some money. Like, this can't be a complete secret he was keeping to himself. I mean, it's possible.
no one. You said people here are unaware of that he was saving money.
Are you asking me?
Yeah,
Well, I would let you know that I was just like over here eavesdropping on some people, and they didn't happen to be saying anything at that moment. I didn't directly ask anyone about it. So.
Oh, about him in general, or just?
Yeah, like I'll just answer this in character. I was moseying on around, and I was trying to listen to see if people were just happening to discuss anything, but no, I didn't hear anything. But I didn't actually directly talk to anyone about him either. So I think it's worth just asking his close by neighbors to see what they think of him. See if they've heard of any of his plans in the future or anything like that. We don't have to give away what he was doing, but I'm sure he must have some friends nearby that he must talk to or something. So
Seems fair. Was there anything on you said? Did you mention that you spoke to her, right?
I did, yes.
Okay. Was there anything unusual about her room, perhaps?
I didn't really see her room. She came out and I gave her the doll, and then she went back and got the doll, or her dolls that she makes, to show. She did a little puppet show, but I didn't really notice anything unusual.
You did not see into the room?
I mean, I wasn't really looking.
Interesting. They seem adamant about not letting us in there. Granted, we have not directly asked them, but it seems difficult to do an investigation without having investigated the entire house. I just didn't want to barge in there. It seems
did you ask him? Maybe he was not
unsavory.
opposed to it. Maybe you should ask him.
I suppose we could. She made it sound as if she was not supposed to talk to us, like she was not supposed to interact with us. So I didn't want to take it upon myself to go in there, but I suppose we could ask him.
She said she's not supposed to talk to strangers. Simple advice parents give to their children. It's not.
Understandable, yes.
Perhaps it's just worth asking to see if he's opposed to you going in there. I don't see why not. A quick look around shouldn't be a problem.
I suppose. His
But
room was
perhaps
wide
I
open.
should not accompany that question. I'll stay out here and canvass the neighbors, as I said.
Sounds good.
Okay.
So
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'll go with you, and before you guys start having dinner or anything, I'll ask him if it would be too much trouble to investigate the bedrooms.
No, he'll let you take a look at the bedroom. When you speak, the little girl goes, "You're the one who came up to my door and talked to me. I hope.
Yes, I am.
I hope you find what Daddy's looking for."
Brianna seems kind of you can tell that she's very charmed by the little girl. As far as not like magically, just like she really thinks she's.
She seems like she kind of might have a little bit of like, as she looks up to you, she seems like she's reflecting a little bit of like maybe a bit of hope that maybe you could make her daddy happy again.
And I must have missed this earlier, but were they human?
They are human, yes.
Okay. Fair enough. And I'll look through his room first, since it's already open, and then I'll look through her room. I don't know if they're gonna go have dinner while I'm doing this, or if he wants to.
No, it'll be a little while. He's still finishing up dinner, but
okay.
You can peruse around. Give me a perception check to cover both rooms. It's not a lot of space to cover. Find nothing. All looks good. Yeah, these are rooms. They have walls.
Would it be possible to be a little more hands-on and investigate?
He looks at you a little bit perplexed.
To see if perhaps anybody came in, because she did mention that you
came in through the walls?
That she went to school and you went to work, that perhaps somebody used an entrance other than the door or window.
There's no other entrance besides a door or a window. I don't understand what you mean.
There's no entrances in here into here. So what he found outside was there was like a hole into the house, correct?
No, there was like a hole in a series of boards over a window.
Oh, okay. There is the trap door under the front, though, correct? There are no other.
The trap door is just a like little small cubby hole for him to store stuff underneath the house.
But there are no other. There are no other doors or
just
anything
the one,
like that.
One door in and out.
And there's nothing that perhaps was made not by you. Maybe something coming in from underground.
Not that I'm aware of, but I would think you would have noticed that by now. You thoroughly looked about my house.
Well, we've looked around most of it, yes.
Well, I'd like to get to dinner if you don't mind. You've done a lot of looking.
Oh, I don't let me stop you from having dinner.
No. It's very awkward to have people just standing around while you're having dinner. So perhaps
continue investigating if that's...
Sure, you could continue investigating. Maybe follow up on whatever information you found, but we'd like to have dinner if you'd be so kind. And he gestures towards the door.
Oh, you're asking me to leave. My apologies. I didn't understand. I'll see myself out then.
Thank you. Ghoulron, you're doing a little bit more canvassing around?
Yeah, I want to directly ask like any neighbors that are around, just be like, oh, like this guy lives here. Like, what do you know about him? Like, you hear, like, is he a good guy or whatever? Like,
sure. Give me a diplomacy.
You said he did let me in the room, though, correct?
Yeah, he let you look around the room. You didn't see anything of
normal.
So I'm going around like, what do you know about this guy, huh? Tell me now.
The thing is, so as you're going around here, like, a lot of what you're getting is that you've kind of got this vibe at this point, with all the looking around you've done, and with all the, like, peeping you've done, you're giving off kind of that cop vibe, you know? And a lot of the people, like, as you start coming up to them, they kind of, like, either pretend to not notice you, or when you ask them questions, they're like, I don't know anything.
Just get stitches.
Alright, yeah, if I can't learn anything about him, I guess I'll, actually, before we get ready to leave, I'll go to back to the door to, like, talk to, Brianna.
Okay.
Alright, I go to the door to talk to him.
Yeah, I guess...
I'll knock and be like, I need to speak to my colleague.
My guess is that it's right as Antaeus is about to come out. Ghoulron,
sure, yeah.
You step up to the door and you're like, Brianna.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna leave the premises. By the way, I was gonna still investigate outside while she was having dinner.
Well, listen at the window.
Well, just in case if something happens while you're in there, I want to be able to be around so that we can investigate it and make sure that you're safe.
Weird questions. Wanting Brianna to stay for dinner. What is this dude's deal?
All right.
Yes, Goran.
So I like motion her to come outside, like out of the.
So I'll sort of do like the kind of do like the 1 minute, like, you know.
He nods.
Yeah. Okay. And so I go out.
Like, what the fuck, man? These people are crazy.
Well, perfect. We still have some time before dinner. No.
This man is quite odd, and I don't know what you're getting yourself into by staying here for dinner. So if you need assistance, how would you like to?
I will convey the odd questions that he asked me when I was alone with him real fast.
I mean, what you do with your personal time is obviously up to you, but in case you need help, I'm saying, is there a way you can contact us help quickly, or should we stay nearby, or is there anything you can do to let us know you need help, or?
Well, I really don't have a way of contacting you all, but I don't necessarily want you to have to, you know, wait on me. I mean, you all have lives too.
Listen, we just lost Baru. I don't want to lose another one. So let's just be extra careful. Perhaps we can just stay close by, and if there's any trouble, do you have like a whistle on you or something? Do you have anything that can make a loud noise that we could hear?
A flute?
I do have my flute, and she'll hold up like a small flute.
Do you know any sharply painful noises you could, like loud noise you could make on it? Really,
she kind of gives him this look. She's like, "Have you actually heard me play this thing?"
It's a pretty average-looking flute,
and I'm 100% certain.
100% certain of it.
Are you adept?
It's a masterwork flute.
Oh, is it? Okay, then it's actually worth quite a bit.
Oh, wow! You seem to be prepared for fluting.
Well, Brianna, we will perhaps stay a few houses down, and if you need help, try to get it near a window and just blow on your flute as hard as you can, and we'll come running. I guess we'll decide on like a note, like she can play it softly to like give us an idea of like what sound is trouble. I mean, I don't think she'd be playing it casually. Clearly we just want to make sure we know the signal. Do you have she needs
perhaps a favorite song or something that we might recognize?
I mean, I don't think she'll have time to play a whole song. Just
play
the one.
Be able to recognize, just something.
I'll play a high C if.
All right.
Yeah.
Delicious.
and just so you know, in my mind, the flute that she has is probably for a normal person. It'd be more like a piccolo, but because she's smaller, then it's like a flute to her.
Can you give us like a low version of the C, just so we can identify it's a very high one?
Would it be possible to tell that it's a high C if she gives us a low version of it?
Listen, we're just gonna list for a loud fluting sound. That's what we're gonna do, and Guran will start walking off to find a good nearby spot to, like a house or two down, so it's not like obvious. Like he wants to make it look like they're leaving in case anyone's watching, kind of thing.
And then you're gonna sneak in somebody's backyard and keep an eye out.
Go down like an alleyway or like an alley between houses or something, and then just hang out and wait.
I mean, I could just be like, "Yo, I'm her ride. I'll chill outside if you don't want me to join for dinner."
I'm just gonna casually stay outside the whole time.
I'm her ride. There's no cart or horses or anything outside.
I'm her ride. I carry her back to town.
I mean, I could. I literally could.
Unless you want to get in there and do some weird things with them, I think you need to come with me. I don't know if he invited you to dinner as well, but let's just all wait nearby and wait.
I gotta remember that at some point he's my ride to a person that doesn't drive.
Oh my. So she looks very touched. She's like, you know, I really appreciate you guys and your concern for me, and hopefully this will go okay. It is an odd request, but I just, maybe there's more that he wants me specifically to know. It seems like that. It seems like that he at least, has some kind of repertoire with me.
Oh wait, Elizabeth told us that he asked those weird questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So I'll just remind Brianna. I'll say, be careful. His line of questioning seems like he's trying to maybe discern information from us, which is odd. Just be careful. Remember the rules. You're not supposed to reveal any.
I mean, I don't even know what the rules technically were. I just figured I probably shouldn't talk.
I'm pretty sure Steve told us you're not allowed to mention any ongoing cases or anything like sensitive information. It's like the rules.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I figured it was like probably.
Yeah,
So those are the first two rules.
Yeah, so I just remind Brianna like not to let any sensitive information go if he asks, and then go find them.
Those are the first two rules of the Babysitters Club.
So where is everybody? Well, Brianna's having dinner.
Did he say that he was gonna walk to the houses down the street?
Well, I just want to be in earshot.
Oh yeah, no, I was gonna go.
If there's like I see, I don't know where we are with the Divine Garden. Like I don't know where we are.
You guys are This is back where the ministry is. You guys are on the far east side of town. I don't really have a town map per se,
okay.
But I'll take you back to the big world map. So in Knightsbridge, if you were to zoom in, you're like over here on the far east northeast side of town.
Yeah, like I don't want to be like awkward, like standing in the middle of the street. Like I'll just find like there are people just walking around and stuff. Like I'll just
there's always people walking around. So
I'll just create like a loop. Like I'll walk like a block down, a block.
Sure.
I just want to stay within earshot.
Is anybody else staying with Ghoulrun?
I was going to look around this window a little bit more, the scratched up one.
Okay. You can spend some time at that window.
Is there a lot of foot traffic back here? Or?
Not really.
Okay, I didn't know if like the houses were like the backs of the houses were like alleyways kind of.
No, not really. There's a bit of space between each of them. Like each house has like just enough space that you could technically call it a yard, but not really enough space that you could do much with that yard.
Okay, I was gonna try to like take 10 to, if I could, to like look at it a little more in depth while they're.
You can spend quite a bit of time on it. Elizabeth, what about you? What are you up to?
I'm being super awkward and like literally chilling outside the house.
Okay.
Like just like outside front, like not trying to like creep around the house or do anything weird. I'm just sitting outside front of the house. Like she comes out, I'll be like, oh, well, we came together. I'm just waiting for her to finish having dinner with you for us to leave.
Okay.
Sitting on the stoop.
Pretty much, I'm just sitting on the stoop, like minding my own business.
Stupid kid's afraid to leave the
Well,
stoop.
he doesn't. He doesn't really have a stoop per se, so you just kind of be like standing out by the street.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're standing out there by the street. Like a small group of goblins starts making their way up to you. Hey, big girl, what you doing here?
One of my friends is inside having a visit. I'm just waiting for.
Oh, having a visit, huh? One of your friends, huh? How much for a visit?
Not that kind of visit.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty freaking sure.
Then what she needs you out here for?
I'm her friend. I'm waiting for her.
Well, I mean, if she's in there and you're out here, you like her guard or something?
No.
She owe you money?
No.
We can help you get that money if she owes you money.
Sure. How are you gonna help me get money?
When she comes out, we'll give her a little bit of a rough time, and she'll pay you pretty quick.
No,
she'll pay you really quick.
Do you do that like around here normally? Do you rough people up and then take their money?
I mean, if they're not, I would try to be helpful. We're very helpful to people,
Oh yeah, you seem super helpful.
Yeah, we're like very helpful people.
Have you been helpful around here lately?
When we have to be.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
How about last night? Were you helpful last night?
Why you? What about last night? We weren't around here last night.
Okay, just checking. Just trying to decide if you're helpful last night. I want to sense motive when he says that particular.
He's gonna sense motive back at you.
All right. Where is my sense motive? Why am I blind? Oh, we changed it to gate.
Yeah.
Like, I can't find. Oh my god.
You some kind of knight? You gotta say if you're a knight.
Do I?
No, there's
What
no
was
law in the
that?
book that you have to say if you're a knight.
I'll be like, why do you think I'm a...
Because you're now asking questions about where we were last night. That's a knight questioning right there.
Well, I'm not a knight.
Let's go. This knight over here is going to keep protecting this house.
Yeah, y'all can keep moving along. Weird ass fucking goblin.
So after a bit of time looking at this window, Antaeus will find that this looks like it's probably somebody was prying a bit with a dagger. It's got the scrape marks look like if you're just trying to get something into the right spot, but like you hit it the first couple of times the wrong ways, you're kind of coming into it, and then you finally get that right spot, and it's been pried open a little extra.
From the outside in?
From the outside in.
And that just looks like somebody was trying to get into the room with a knife.
Not necessarily like they were trying to get in, because they would probably not have gone in between the boards like this. This isn't like towards the edge of the boards. This is more centered off on the boards. Almost like somebody was just trying to get a clearer view of something from the window.
I'll try to see if what I can see from the space that I'm at.
Sure, give me a perception. So you see Brianna and the kid and Nico seated at the table, having a meal of stew, which you found pretty meh.
Yeah.
But it's like as you're kind of looking at this, and you're taking a lot of extra time here to kind of stare at things. You notice that where the knife is kind of prodded at. From where you're standing, from where you're at looking through this, you wouldn't be able to see beneath the lower part of the table without what the knife had kind of clawed out of the extra wood space.
Oh, so it clawed out a little bit of extra space to be able to see a little more into the room.
Mm-hmm.
To make sure that it was okay. Interesting. I'll I didn't see anything else of note from my perspective from where I was at.
Nope.
Okay. I guess I'll just kind of I'll stop staring in there in case somebody looks at me dead in the eye like a creep. But I'll kind of stay within earshot of it.
Okay.
A little off to the side of where that hole is, because I'm assuming it's considerably bigger than the other spaces between the boards, or what little spaces there are. I'll just kind of stand near it, and if I see Golrock? Why do I keep wanting to say Golrock? Golron.
Ghoulron.
Okay. Golron. My apologies. If I see Golron, I'll walk up to him and mention that.
Okay.
Because I'm assuming that
Well, I mean, Elizabeth is right there by the not far out from the door, so you literally would walk away, and she's right there, and you'd near bump into her.
Oh, okay. If I see her, then I'll mention it to her.
Okay.
As well.
So, Brianna, you're in there, and it's pretty nice time. The his stew is. Let me see how it finished up. His stew is reasonable, considering that he's probably not got a lot to work with. It's better than expected. His daughter is very excited to have company, or at least seems to be. She's constantly talking to you and telling you about things and asking you about what you do and what you'd like to do, and generally like excited as you tell her? I'm assuming you share with her like you're a performer.
Yes, I would be sort of giving her, or I'd be sort of telling stories about, my bardic ambitions and performing in inns. I probably would share some of my stories like from before the ministry, like before I was caught,
Mm-hmm.
and so I would be like, sort of regaling them with those kind of.
She her face like lights up listening to the stories, and especially when you talk about like you're a singer and you play and you dance. Okay, the flute is something you're working towards.
Yeah, I'm learning it.
So when you talk about your singing, like her eyes light up really bright, and she's like, oh, "Daddy," and she like leans in. Daddy likes when people sing. He likes singing. Sometimes I'll hum things, like when I'm happy and I'm playing with things, and Daddy gets really happy. And then I sometimes will sing, and then Daddy will like kind of close his eyes, and it seems to make him so happy.
What sort of songs do you like to sing?
I don't know a lot of them. I was told that they're like old elf songs. My mom used to collect like these little notes that had the lyrics to songs, and she taught me some of the tunes, but I barely remember them. But they're really pretty. Can I sing one for you?
Sure, I'd love to hear one.
Wow. And even though like you're a brand new person, and she's like, seems to have like not done this around a lot of people, at least from what she's saying. Like, she seems to have no hesitation or any faltering as she sings you this very pretty song. Do you speak Elven?
Let me check. I do.
Oh, this is a very old kind of like song about the kind of fleetingness of what it's like to love someone who won't live nearly as long as you. The intense like happiness that you get to experience, but going through every day, like you eventually know that it will be very sad. It's a very, very pretty song, and knowing the lyrics to the song makes it kind of weird to hear a kid kind of like singing the song, because this is the song that like a person might sing to somebody they have strong affections for, and they kind of want to remind the person of how fleeting life really is. It's the kind of song that, like humans and other kind of like short-lived people would really attach themselves to very strongly. Probably more so even than an elf hearing the song, because to an elf, this is like almost pop music. Whereas to a human, this is like, music never before heard, and, from far, far away.
So, she hasn't shown me like the collection of songs that her mother collected.
No, but like, she does explain to you like where she learned it from.
Okay. So, as she concludes her song, I smile and I say, "That was very good. That's a very pretty song." And I ask her, I say, "Would you mind showing me like the songs that your mother collected?"
Sure. She runs off, and as she runs off, he says, "She's taken quite well to you. She doesn't normally deal well with other people. She's often quite nervous, and since her mother passed, things have been difficult for her. I don't get to put in as much time as I would like to with her. Some days the job is longer than others. It's nice that you can show her such interest and that she can show such interest in you.
I'll nod respectfully, and I'll say, she's very sweet, and I can I think that music helps people bond even faster sometimes than anything. A shared love of music.
I agree. He says as he shakes his head, and she comes out with this like tiny little box of these various little like slips of parchment that have things written down on them, and she shows you like what are basically a bunch of like elvish love songs, and like he kind of looks over at them and looks at you kind of holding them. He kind of like turns his head away a bit, and wipes a bit at his face.
The songs that she shows me, do they have music notes on?
They do not have notes on them, but some of them you give me a knowledge history. Or specifically, you could have knowledge music, but it's unlikely you have ranks in knowledge music. You don't recognize any of the tunes of any of these songs.
Okay, so I'll thank her for sharing that with me, and say that since I can understand the lyrics, I'll say that these are very lovely songs, and that I'm glad that her mother shared them with her.
I am too. It made Daddy really happy to hear them, and I'm glad I can at least sometimes like remember how they go.
At that, I will say, would you like to hear a song?
Yes, I would.
So at that, then Brianna will begin to sing a song that mainly is one that she wrote after leaving home, one that she reminds her a little bit of home and of those that she misses but can't see again. It's not one that she normally would perform in a tavern, but it'd be more like one that she sings maybe to herself or something, something like that. More like that kind of a song.
Okay. Give me a perform check. Wow. The little girl kind of like cries softly as she like watches you sing, and then mostly though seems to be like kind of staring at her dad. And her dad, you can see him kind of like look up at you, and there's like a bit of like a faint smile on his face. And then you notice like as you kind of get into like the loss in your song, like his face kind of like, that face that people kind of get when they're really trying not to let an emotion out, but they're doing a really bad job of kind of hiding that feeling. Like every once in a while he'll like rub a hand over his face or over his eyes. Once you finish the song, they both clap. She claps really excitedly. He claps very slowly and like wipes his face again. Thank you. Thank you so much.
It was my privilege, and thank you for dinner. I really enjoyed having dinner with you.
You're welcome, and you're welcome back anytime.
she'll nod and she'll say, I hate to eat and run, but I do need to hopefully find some leads, and hopefully I can help you find folks.
Thank you. Irwin and I would be happy to have you back if you'd ever like to join us for dinner again.
Thank you. And at that, then I will get up.
Yeah, he'll get up as well, and he'll rush over to the door and open it for you. I hope you have a wonderful evening.
You as well.
Thank you.
And she will, also look at the little girl and she'll say, keep practicing. You have some real.
Thank you. I will. Thank you. It was very nice to meet you. I hope I get to see you again.
She'll nod and then she'll turn to.
Okay. A little while after you step out, the door closes.
I bump into Elizabeth, not realizing that she was going to be like, oh, hi, Elizabeth.
Hey, buddy, how's dinner?
I'll be proud I ate the whole thing.
Good job.
So I imagine that we would then try to meet up with the rest of
Yeah. All right. What do the four of you want to do? You all hung out for half hour, 45 minutes waiting for dinner to end for somebody else?
I feel like that I should find some place and buy them dinner since they had to wait on me eating.
That way they don't have to eat people stew.
I mean, it's because it's pretty late by this point, right? So
yeah.
I think we would just call it a night at this point.
I'll let her know what I saw when I peeked through the hole.
Okay.
I'll kind of make a face and be like, do you think from where you were looking, could you see the trap?
Only if it seemed as if I was only able to see that because the dagger or whatever it was that they used pried these boards further apart. So it looked as if it was intentional, and then I could see a view of the bottom of the table underneath it.
I wonder if someone's been stalking them,
Did run into
in the window.
a bunch of real shifty goblins outside their house that were asking me if I needed their help shaking you down when you came out for money, and I asked them if they were helping people out in the neighborhood last night, and they just took off after that.
As your fantastical leader, I have a plan. As it seems like someone is spying on this individual, perhaps in the morning, we make a show of returning this man's gold that the ministry perhaps is just refunding him, and we instruct him to put it where he was, and then we stake out who's watching or who would come back to take it again, kind of thing.
Sounds like a swift way to lose 250 gold.
Elizabeth, stay with me here, but we don't actually put 250 gold in the bag. That's why you need a dwarf in this scheme.
Sure.
What do we put in there aside from the actual 200?
Copper coins? We just put coins in there. They don't know what's in the bag. Just jingles around like coins and then make it look like a lot of money.
So that we would probably need to get Maha's approval for that, no?
I'm sure we could afford 100 copper coins or so to fit in the bag that makes it look like a lot of money.
Is there anyone walking around here as we're talking about this in the
open there's
area?
People walking around, but people aren't really paying attention.
Okay. Would this be a discussion better had in a more secure location?
Yes, I assumed we were alone, but yeah.
Oh, if I know anything about Steve's games, we have to specifically say that we're going somewhere
Yep.
else. Otherwise,
you guys have had a lot of conversations outside of people's offices.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, like we were like right outside their house, I guess, or wherever they meet up.
Yeah, well, they walked over to you because you were like standing a couple of houses down. But
yeah, and it's super late. I don't expect a lot of people just randomly.
I mean, there are quite a few people wandering about. Like there's several goblins and some gnomes and some humans wandering.
Did I notice anyone paying attention to us?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Perhaps
head back to the ministry and
There's like as many people walking around now that it's dark out than as there was earlier.
Yeah, in fact, it almost seems like more now that it's dark out.
It's the seedy underbelly.
You do notice that the population kind of changes. There's a lot more humans wandering about, like a lot more humans and halflings wandering about during the daytime. But the number of goblins goes up pretty dramatically in the evening.
Let's head back to the ministry and iron out this plan.
I'll make sure to mention that on the way back.
As you're making your way back,
we are okay. Nothing bad happens to us.
There's a rather large gentleman who steps out onto the middle of the street. You're out a little past curfew, you think, huh?
I'll show my ministry badge. Ministry business, sir. Step aside.
Oh, yes, certainly. Be right on your way, then.
Thank
yes,
you.
You're correct. It is a little past curfew.
Yeah.
Would you like to let us know what you're doing now, sir?
I'm, night watch, of course.
Oh, but of course.
Keeping the streets safe.
Well, if you see anything, unusual, please be certain to let us know.
I can't roll for shit on anything today.
Gulran, he's very clearly looking around for somebody to cause some trouble with. And maybe get a little coin.
I am singing a song about people breaking the law, and to kind of gauge his intentions.
He kind of like hums along with your song as well as you're singing.
He's very familiar with it.
We haven't actually seen him do anything like illegal, so we can't really do anything, right? Like, yeah.
Not past curfew. Past bedtime.
There's not actually a curfew.
Yeah. I was gonna say I didn't remember if there's an actual curfew.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll just motion everyone to move along, like keep moving.
Okay.
What race is this?
Orc.
Man? Ah. Interesting. You said it's mostly goblins, right? Like.
Yeah, it's been mostly goblins.
Okay. So that's uncommon, but not.
No, there's still the occasional orc roaming around, still the occasional human, some gnomes, some very, very, very few halflings.
For those interested, I was singing the theme to Cop.
What you want? What you gonna do?
Exactly.
Never really knew what the next line was. I think it's like "When we gon' come for you" or something like that.
Bad boys, bad boys.
Alright, so are you guys going to get dinner, you said, or are you just heading home for rest and then starting
Would there
the new day?
be a place open at this time? Or that we would
Yeah, it's not super late. It's still like, middle of the evening. Like middle of the evening, not middle of the night.
Is this like we can't go back to the ministry? Is everyone like gone for the
Yeah,
day?
the ministry is basically going to be night shift people. So all the people you'd see there during the day are not going to be there.
Okay. So yeah, I think we just get some food and then go to bed, and then the first thing in the morning we go back to the ministry to talk with
Maha.
Yeah.
Okay.
See if she's okay with us like using some ministry funds for this plan or whatever.
Sure.
Just out of curiosity, are these streets lit at night at all, or?
The streets in the low-income neighborhoods are not well lit. All there is kind of the soft moonlight to illuminate things. Otherwise, it's quite dark.
Okay.
So yeah, you guys rest up, and the next morning you can eventually get a meeting with Maha.
Mm-hmm.
I'm told you were looking to speak with me.
Yes. It's about the case we started on yesterday. We have a plan to apprehend the culprit, but we are in need of some ministry funds.
You have a culprit already.
Well, we want to apprehend a culprit. We don't have one yet.
Oh.
Intending to place a trap.
I thought maybe you had a lead. We had another case that came across my desk with a similar set of magical signatures.
Really?
Oh.
It sounds pertinent to our... Maybe related? Should we know about this?
Perhaps. She picks up another folder, opens it, and slides it over to you. This one's different, though, by a bit. So there is a business that is in the industry of making sure that certain products are crafted in a certain way. The kind of business that does quality assurance of sorts, but on a government level. This is a very smaller operation. We specifically, small office, handful of people. They go out to locations and certify the production of objects and various things. Over the evening, there was a break-in. And normally, there's not a lot of money on hand, but there happened to be a very important... There was a very important item that was stolen, and it would not have been very easy to have gotten at it. They would have had to have somehow gotten in and gotten it from within the safe. This particular item can ascertain the... trying to make sure I say this correctly, but it ascertains the chance of failure of a set of components. So let's say that you had something that would make books. It could identify how likely that object was to fail. Basically, how structurally sound that object is.
Interesting.
Why would anyone want that?
Well, if you can identify how structurally sound something is, and you were perhaps interested in figuring out the easiest locks to break, this would basically be a money detector in a way.
Do we have the name of this company or who owns it?
The name of the organization is called Assurance.
Okay.
They are one of the outlets. It's hard to... You're gonna get some pushback. Technically, they operate as their own sort of government-ish organization. They have certain authorities, and so they will probably not want to give you access to too much stuff. They've made it very clear that they're in full compliance with all regulations, and that they are conducting their own investigation. But we need them to understand that we have our own investigation to perform as well. But they're probably not going to like it. They've probably hired their own investigators, and they're probably looking to do this with their own assets.
It seems like
Would
a
you-
conflict of interest, does it not?
Of sorts, yes. The unfortunate part is we have no grounds to say that they can't necessarily do this.
Would you sanction an undercover operation?
How do you mean?
Instead of going in with our badges of the ministry, perhaps we go in as prospective customers and gather intel this way. They may be more loose-lipped with potential clients than ministry poking their nose around.
Perhaps, but I feel like you would only get whatever their sales pitch is more than you would get the security that they have within.
Well, the connection is we heard that our previous case, the man commissioned a trap door to conceal his money, and perhaps this is a man at this company or person at this company fashioned this door and thus knew where the money was. So we may go in asking like, oh, I heard you were famous for making these secret doors and stuff like this. They could direct me to who was that, and this person may be responsible for our...
Well, the company itself doesn't manufacture anything. The company itself reviews the manufacturing of other companies.
Yes. The man let us know that the person who constructed it was now doing such work.
Out of character,
no
did he
longer
specifically say
constructing, and
the
he was-
trapdoor, or was it the doors on the room?
No, he was referring to the trapdoor.
Oh, okay.
It's been about a year since the person installed the trapdoor.
Okay.
I didn't know that length of time had passed, but...
Like, roughly, yeah. And he said sometime, he reached back out to him a few months ago, and the guy said he was working for a different company, doing, like, more of the testing and less of the manufacturing.
Right, so
That's a
that...
goblin.
Yeah.
So that would be reasonable for me to assume, like, oh, maybe he's working for this quality assurance.
Yeah, I get what you're putting together. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that I understood. It sounds like I misunderstood what.
Yeah, I was trying to make sure your line of
my
thinking wasn't off base, but that makes good sense.
So yeah, I say this to everyone basically and see what they say, see what they think.
I that is a reasonable conclusion. But maybe we should also let Maha know what we were thinking in regards to the other case and see what she thinks we should do.
Well, coming with this new information, I think this is a fruitless. Because if it is what I'm saying, no one will be watching this man's property anymore.
I see. Okay.
It seems like they're in the business of knowing, or someone at the company is knowing when goods are where they're not supposed to be, and then taking advantage of that information. Seems like it would have to be an inside job for someone to steal things when they're not normally there.
We're just wild thought here. Where is this company located in relation to
This is going to
Nico.
be more in the business district, which is basically near where you guys are in the ministry. So it's going to be a little ways south. Let me jump myself over to that map as well. So a little bit south of here. So if you headed down this way from where the ministry is, you would eventually get to their office.
Okay. Well, I say we go check it out. Do you have anything further to let us know, Ma?
Nothing except what's in the dossier. And she obviously hands it over to you to keep or to take with you.
Why don't we go to a conference room and look over the dossier?
Sounds good.
So I will say goodbye to Maha, tell her to have a good day, and then
She bids
head
you the
towards
same?
conference.
All right.
I just had a better plan strike me as I was thinking things over. perhaps we split into 2 teams. One team is normal ministry business, so you can see we can find out normal wise, and the other half guys is as customers, so we can do both, basically.
But what info do you think you're going to be able to get out of them as a customer?
As a customer, I may be given access to the man who constructed that trapdoor. As a ministry member,
this particular company doesn't even do that, so why would they give you access to him?
Is it also not odd that somebody would be peering into the house to find the trapdoor if they already knew where it was?
Listen. Dwarves are crafty. Listen up. So I say I'm in the business of making my own trapdoor, and I want someone to test it. And I heard that someone who now is working here had constructed trapdoors, and I maybe want this guy to test my door out. Thus, I have a reasonable reason to be seeking this guy out. As a customer, as a ministry member, I may be blocked from such access. Sorry.
So Brianna, with a look through, with a 12, you'll identify that the building supposedly has an alarm on it that was not tripped.
So as I'm looking through it, I'll say, that's interesting. The alarm, they have an alarm, but it wasn't tripped. Who does that sound like?
Well, again, if they were the ones who were helping test their fortifications or whatever they were doing, they would know how to bypass an alarm. Being on the inside of the structure and all that, being familiar with it.
I'm looking at the dossier now with...
That would be an investigation, not a perception.
Oh.
Real quick.
Oh,
so,
man. That sucks.
What do you got, Brianna?
That sucks.
So the reason we were given this case is because there was illusion and transmutation magics.
Yeah, once again, there was some light illusion detected on the outside and some transmutation detected on the inside.
Sorry, go ahead, Elizabeth.
Oh no, I wasn't saying anything. I was just
To make sure I'm also giving you the
being
right
sad
details.
about my ridiculously bad investigation roll once again. It's the mother.
Alright, so Gulran has offered his idea.
Well, my issue with Goron's ideas, my thought was we go in as ministry people, but like tell them like, oh, like just be chill, like, oh, like if you have any information to offer about like this investigation, like we are like dealing with similar things, but like try to particularly not be like trying to step on their toes, but instead change it and be like, we're investigating something similar, but we're actually curious if you have a goblin that works for you that used to work in like the crafting, you know, or not crafting, but like installing like trapdoors and stuff, and just try to even figure out if this company like has someone of that nature employed.
Okay. Any other suggestions?
I mean, as far as Brianna's concerned, you know, she'll just go along with whatever everyone else decides.
Can I so we're operating under the assumption that he's peering in to see the guy where the guy put the money, but also the person who inspected it? Or am I misunderstanding?
So he hired someone to actually make the trapdoor, and then that guy who made the trapdoor, when the guy tried to like get back in touch with him, he moved into a different line of work of testing objects. So I kind of just put 2 and 2 together, maybe wrongly, but I'm assuming that perhaps he works for this quality assurance company now. And because that they have other stuff being stolen, it seems like this guy is using like kind of like a locksmith. Like when he goes in, he takes an extra copy of the key and he goes back and steals shit, kind of thing.
But what I'm wondering is if he was involved in the installation of this, wouldn't he know where it was at and not have to peer into the house to find out where it's hidden?
He may have. I'm not sure how those are related. Maybe I'm totally off base. Maybe
technically, the guy said he just told this person that he was storing important documents there. He didn't actually say he was storing money there.
Oh, so maybe he saw what he's actually storing in there to make sure it's worth stealing.
I mean, that's just a detail. But then, both locations, they're supposedly telling us that there's faint illusion outside and transmutation inside, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And isn't that the exact same thing we're dealing with in the kids' case?
Yes. There was illusion outside of the house and transmutation.
There was no illusion outside.
I thought there was
no illusion. It was just the transmutation inside.
Did we in character?
And there was transmutation inside, and
there was faint illusion on the outside of the house.
You guys did not look on the outside of the house in that investigation.
I remember somebody being told that there was faint illusion.
I thought we did.
No. She's talking about in the case from the last mission they went on.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking about from this
Correct.
one. We found out there was faint illusion on the outside of the house. Correct. Okay.
Yes.
And on the table there was transmutation.
I thought we did because I can't remember.
Hold on. Let me verify something real quick.
Because I thought that I thought it might have been Goron, but it might have been somebody else. Was outside and did and I don't specifically remember when, but it was sometime I believe when I was out there and saw faint illusion.
In this one.
In the other one, the thing that you would have seen was enchantment on the outside.
Okay.
And that was in the second of the families, not the first woman.
Mm-hmm.
Did we in character find out what spells that those were?
Nope.
Did we link them to
you fed that woman to the Sharkticons.
Yeah. I mean, our assumption was that because the kids told us that she looked like someone they knew.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
so we
she
could.
Yeah.
So she was using a transmutation spell to turn her into an appearance of someone that they would trust, so she could take them with her. And we were assuming she was using like a dimension door spell-like ability to basically go through like the windows without tripping the alarm.
Okay.
So we didn't like find out 100%, but those were our assumptions based on the types of magic, what the kids said, and what appeared to be happening.
Okay. So in character, sorry, what's Dimension Door is linked to what type of magic?
Well, the problem is we were pretty sure the creatures were using it as a spell-like ability.
Actually, as a supernatural ability. As a spell-like ability, you would have detected it.
Yeah, supernatural ability.
So none of the spells linked to this type of magic is what I'm basically saying. Because Goron doesn't know arcane magic. So.
Yeah, I was literally just trying to figure out if like the traces of magic from our first case were identical to this case, because it was like transmutation in both and then something on the outside in both, and I was just trying to figure out if they were like identical to the first case to be like, wait, is it something similar to what we flippin' dealt with in the first case?
You said you assumed that something was using what was it? As a supernatural ability,
Dimension Door.
Oh, Dimension Door. Is there any way that I would be able to? Is there like a knowledge or something that I'd be?
There's like a bajillion creatures that could use Dimension Door as a supernatural ability.
Yeah, we had actually done like research on this and deemed that there was like so many things that could use Dimension Door as a supernatural ability that really it wasn't able to rule it down. However, I did see the creature we fought actually use it, so I know that creature had.
What creature did you guys fight?
I don't think we ever found out exactly what it was. We know we fought some mites down there, but this one seemed different than a mite. Like,
you have a physical description of it, or a
We had a
description of its other abilities?
picture.
Yeah, but that wasn't a picture that you had. That was me showing you what it looked like because you saw it in person.
Yeah.
Can we
that's what I
describe
was
this to Ryan's character?
Sure. Give me
other
a intel check to try to accurately describe the thing that you saw.
Yeah, Gurun's gonna let other people.
Ooh, damn!
Finally get my
All right,
girl.
Elizabeth gives you a depiction of... Oh, that's the wrong way. Give you a front view of it. You're gonna love this. She's so sexy.
We were all envious of Baru's wife.
Yeah, like the beauty just...
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting. Would I be able to make some sort of knowledge check, perhaps, to figure out what kind of creature this is?
Sure.
And I could help him narrow it down by describing at least the abilities I remember seeing it doing, which was it charmed one of our party members into believing it was like that she was like his wife, and so he was like compelled to protect her from us. And I know she used Dimension Door, and then most of the other things she used, God, I can't remember them super well, but she was doing a lot of stuff to try to, like, it seemed like prod our minds and make us...
She teleported.
Yeah, that was the Dimension Door. But I remember, like, brief glimpses of her trying to convince me that I went to her and Baru's wedding, and then I, like, shook it off. I was like, no.
Interesting.
Yep, so give me a knowledge...
If it's,
There's a lot of things here.
Unless
that it
it's
could be.
nature, nobility, or sorry, nature, planes, religion, history, or arcana, I have the same bonus for everything else.
Well, give me a planes check to start.
Okay.
Nope. Give me a nature. Okay. With the nature, from her description, you notice there are some fey qualities in whatever this is. The Dimension Door part of the horns, like these kind of reflect feyish qualities.
That does not necessarily match up with the physical description I was given, though, right?
To some degree it does, but it also doesn't fit right because it was also a very small creature, but not like... It had like hair in a certain way, and the way she describes the hair doesn't quite fit with like a fae. Like it almost sounds like a halfling.
It looks kind of ghoulish as well, right? Not necessarily like a ghoul, but like kind of an undead.
Starved-ish maybe, but not necessarily undead. There's some
gaunt.
There's some, yeah, but that's not inherently undead. That could also be like being kind of fey in nature. Fey tend to be thinner creatures as well, almost unnaturally thin.
Don't they also tend, or am I misremembering? Are fey more diminutive though?
Usually they're tiny, but fey can like be as large as, you know, dryads and nymphs and other larger Feyan creatures.
But I don't recall anything offhand of like maybe something small as opposed to medium or tiny.
No, this doesn't quite fit with any Fey that you're aware of, but it definitely seems some form of Fey and maybe some form of human. Like maybe it's part both. But nothing like the spells it's casting don't match up with anything you can think of.
Interesting. I'm guessing I wouldn't be able to do Knowledge Arcana to kind of figure out the spells that they were casting, right?
You can give me an Arcana.
Because I am more trained in that. I'm going to be able to tell from my roll.
Nope.
I rolled a 4.
Nope.
Knowledge of maritime law is not going to come into handy.
Could I?
My thoughts with bringing all of this up was that we're once again seeing things stolen without alarms being triggered. Transmutation magic, which, I mean, they're not stealing children. They're so, like, the theory of, like, turning... I mean, they could be turning into someone trusted still, like
a mother, perhaps?
Well,
someone
no,
who, like, works at the plant.
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And
They could turn into someone who, like, works there so that no one would question why that person is there. Anyways, like, just the transmutation, and then, I mean, the other magic doesn't seem exactly the same as I remember from the first case, but it just is making me think, like, are there more of these creatures out there? And maybe it's a similar creature, but has a different purpose than trying to relocate its lost child.
I was going to say, since we're revisiting the case, could I maybe try and assist Antaeus?
You can't really assist on knowledge checks. You'd make a fresh one on your own. With new news of it being a fae, you could give me a knowledge nature and see if maybe you could get anything from that.
And this doesn't seem to be any kind of religious in nature in any way, shape, or form, right? It does seem to be...
No religion involved. No. Nothing new. Alright, well, what do you want to do about the case at hand?
Goron, I understand where you're going with, maybe getting information, a different way as a customer, but my concern is that, most of the time with companies, they don't want their customers to, if their job is to provide security assessments, they aren't going to want their customers to know that they've had a security breach.
Why would I mention a security breach?
How are you going to get the knowledge from? How are you going to get the knowledge, that you're looking for if you don't bring up that they've been broken in?
I said I was going to say that I heard of, like, I'll be friends with that homeowner who mentioned he got a nice trapdoor built, and that the man is now working at a different company that seems to be this company, and I'm looking for that man because I want to test out my door I built myself. I'm a dwarf. I could probably design such a thing, probably better than that one, and I want it to be tested, and that's my in.
Are you skilled at bluffing your way into things like
as good as any dwarf can be?
Out of character, you said that it's not that they necessarily didn't mention him. They just kind of didn't mention anything when you were eavesdropping, correct?
Of the neighbor?
Yeah.
No, yeah,
like he
no
just
one was talking about
he just
him.
didn't come up in conversation. Is what it seemed like. Okay. So I was just trying to figure out whether or not you would talk to anybody directly about. Okay.
Well, I did as well, and then no one just seemed to like. I can't remember what they were saying. They didn't say anything of a note. I don't think.
They acknowledged that he existed, and that was about it.
Pretty much.
Or
no, I failed my diplomacy check, and they like got the vibe that I was like a cop kind of thing, and they just didn't want to talk to me, basically.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
That's what happened.
So I think right here is where we need to decide: do we split into two and have two people go in as ministry people and like trying to do the thorough investigation of this as ministry people, and two people try to get the info basically on this dude as customers, or do we go in as ministry and like kind of just be like friendly and be like, hey, we're kind of focusing a little bit more on trying to find out if you might have a person of this description working here, and oh, by the way, like, we know we don't like super have like jurisdiction to make you work with us, but like we would help you try to solve this case if
Why can't we just do that? Why can't we just do whatever, all the things you're saying in one plan?
Because it's going to be fishy if ministry people and regular old customers are both coming in asking about the same sort of description of a person. I don't think that's going to be weird on like the same. like
do it
in the
different,
like even if we
different
do it on
times.
different days. Yeah, but even if you do it in different times, like how on like the same day having like 2 people come in specifically asking if you have someone working for you who used to do this and now works for you, like
hush, child, hush. We literally lose nothing if whichever we can let the ministry team go first, and then if nothing comes up, we literally lose nothing by trying as customers. We lose nothing. What do we lose by doing that?
We could do at least one of them. If we went in as customers afterwards, it would seem. If we went in as customers afterwards, it would come across as very apparent, I would assume, that we were trying to blend in and look like normal people.
I mean, to do it your way, John, to go in afterwards, like either we have to then only 2 people go in the first time, or if we all 4 go, they're gonna recognize us.
Just 2, like I said, split up.
Yes, I suggest if we are going to do that, we do one of them. Because if we were to do both, it would come across as odd.
I mean, but we lose nothing by trying. Because
that is true.
If we go all 4 as ministry, we get the same result as 2 people going as ministry and asking questions. And then if that fails, at least we have another chance if 2 people try another thing.
That is true. It seems very, very unlikely, but we... yes, but we do absolutely lose nothing.
There are those of us, though, who are more skilled in certain areas than others, and by splitting, we are putting our potentially more skilled people at gathering information in one party or the other.
Right,
that is something to think about.
Yes, the best skilled people go in the ministry plan, because that was the original plan and the only reliable plan, and then the customer's like a fail plan, like backup. And I want to be the backup plan because, like, it's not unusual for a dwarf to have constructed something on his own and then wanting a test for it, maybe. So, I mean, it's not.
Are you suggesting that you would be part of the diplomacy team?
No. The main diplomacy team would be the ministry team.
Okay, fair.
Mine might require charisma checks, obviously, but which I will fail. But I mean, it's better than doing nothing and just relying on all of us going there and only 2 people talking anyway, or 1 person talking.
I just wanted to figure out whether or not you had intended to go in there with diplomacy yourself, because
no.
Given the very limited experience I've had with you, it does not seem to go over very well.
No
offense, of course.
I know I'm rough around the edges with speaking to people. That's why I wanted to do what was in a customer. They might be more lenient if I'm just like rambunctious and I want someone to test my trapdoor. Like, it's very simple. I'm not like lying about creating like a freaking crazy thing. So I mean,
would you like me to assist you in speaking to people?
No.
So,
all right. Let's just. Sorry, Brianna. I was just gonna say, why don't you and Teus go in as ministry, and me and Gulron can go in as customers if needed, and hopefully I can keep him in check if he gets too rowdy.
Perfect. You guys could pose as a couple that is buying their new home.
That'll never fly, boy. You think they're stupid? I can do a lot better than Elizabeth over here.
Did I miss something? Are you not male and female and heterosexual?
No, I'm attracted to dwarven women. Dwarven women are much...
offended.
Dwarven women are women. That still
that is true, lad, but I prefer a nice,
correct?
stocky dwarven woman.
She's got a nice beard on her.
Yeah. I don't want some...
Yes, but if you were playing a character, then you would not necessarily have the same likes and dislikes as you would, correct?
True, but I can't lie about that. My love of dwarven women far exceeds my ability to lie. They'll see right through me.
I like dwarven beards and I cannot lie.
Well then.
All
right then.
So the plan is to split the party into 2 teams, 2 investigators, 2 liars.
Well,
yes.
One team, the ministry team's not lying.
Yeah, the second
That's
team
what I'm
is
saying, 2 investigators and then the 2 liars, us.
The second team is the team that's like, here, have this +10 to your sense motive checks.
All right. Well, we will see how this ends up turning out next time.
Not turn out terrible.
As opposed to what?
Don't worry, I'm sure that they won't suspect that I'm part of the ministry and that I'm trying to fish out secret information whatsoever.
No, you're part of the team that is the ministry.
Yes, but
so you're not hiding that you're ministry.
They won't figure out that I'm there for any suspicious reason whatsoever. Especially since they probably haven't gotten any.
The reason this plan's not going to work is because no one
up.
knows what the plan is. That's a problem.
All right. So
would it be weird for the ministry to just take it upon themselves without giving notice to go in there and, or
we don't have.
Should we speak to our higher ups about?
We don't have like jurisdiction to like demand that they hand over stuff.
She basically said
no, it's not that there's not. It's not a matter of jurisdiction. It's a matter so
they don't have to let us help.
Right. They can choose to give more information to the private investigators than they give to the ministry. They can give the ministry the minimum amount of information they have to, but share like the extra things that they might have discovered with their private investigators instead of with the ministry.
New plan, 3 teams. Third team is the private investigator team.
Oh my god.
New plan, 6 teams.
No, but legitimately, our third option could be we all pose as like if they haven't hired someone, we could pose as like a investigation agency that.
Yeah, because they totally wouldn't recognize us from coming in as ministry people, and then they would.
Customers. No. I just said the third option is we all come in as investigators.
A separate option.
Yeah.
Okay, not like option 3, but as just
something to think about before next session.
Yeah, two people from the ministry show up, then 2 people claiming they're running a business show up, and then all 4 of you show up afterwards. Like, hey, you looking for private investigators?
We are private.
You've never spoken to me before, but I would like to find out information about your, what were we here for again?
I do like trapdoors, don't you?
But I just didn't know if, like, it would be a thing for the ministry to give notice that they were sending people over, if it would seem suspicious if we just showed up all of our...
No, the ministry doesn't have any messengers that go ahead and, like, say stuff early.
Okay.
Ahead of time,
I didn't know if it would be out of place for us to take it upon ourselves to just start going and investigating things.
I mean,
like
that's
companies.
what we're supposed to do. Like, that's literally our job. The problem is they just don't have to be helpful.
Yeah.
You know, they don't have to tell us.
They have to deliver the minimum amount of things that they find. Like, anything that could appear evidentiary, they have to share with you. But outside of that, they may refrain from other details.
Telling us that, like, go there and investigate, but be prepared for them to probably not want to cooperate with you and probably just give you minimal info and not like all the details that would actually help us solve this shit.
Exactly. I mean, I simply wouldn't get a whole lot proposing as ministry, but I didn't know if it would be one of those like verification things like, oh, well, we're sending somebody over.
No, nothing like that.
Okay.
All right. So let's hand out some XPs.
Oakley dokley.
Everybody can take 200 for role-playing. That was quite good. I was quite entertained.
Right.
Everybody except Ryan can take 100 for... Well, I'll throw Ryan in here, too. Can take 100 for...
recap?
For recap. Thank you. My brain just completely died there. And then everybody can take 300 for the research you did. You got to... you got a good amount of the information you could have gotten from the house.
If only our investigation roles weren't shit.
God, that took so long.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to decipher what kind of humanoid they were cooking. So,
very unfortunate.
Thankfully, you're able to have Brianna keep them distracted long enough for Antaeus to do his take 20.
Yeah.
So, next session. Let's discuss. I could...
For me, as of right now, unless I add any classes, they started Monday, but unless I add any late classes, my classes are all online at the moment.
Okay.
So, and then currently the game that I'm in is on Monday, the week after next.
Okay. Well, I don't ever think
Thursday.
Monday's going to work out as a good day. Monday would be like an oddity if that happened to happen.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm tentatively looking at either Wednesday or Friday.
For me, currently, either of those work. unless I have some sort of plans that I've made ahead of time, which typically won't happen. But
Okay. I'm trying to make sure there's nothing else I could think of that might get in the way of that. Would either day work particularly better for everybody?
Fridays are probably like very inconsistent for me, so
Okay.
probably not that day.
Would I?
Both work fine for me.
Okay.
Both are fine for me.
Okay.
But just in general, for all your games, unfortunately, as I get more busy, I may be inconsistent with every game. So,
Okay.
Just so you know.
Okay.
Like it might be like game like within a few hours, I might realize like, oh shit, I have to finish this thing and I can't leave. So
That's fine. Let's aim for a possible Wednesday. Let me verify that like nothing else is supposed to happen then. But we'll make Wednesday tentative.
Okay.
Cool.
okay.
That is all, at least for the stream. Good night.
Good night.